Welcome to the series Employee Health Services, Mind, Body, and Spirit. Employee Health is a section in the City of Albuquerque's Risk Management Division. Its mission is to promote a sense of community and increase wellness among city employees and their families by providing education and counseling about physical and mental health. And now, Mind, Body, and Spirit with Dr. Julia Bain.
Hello, I'm Julia Bain and welcome to Mind, Body, and Spirit. We have a very special program today. We are going to be interviewing Maria Sanders of the New Mexico Donor Services, an extraordinary commitment to science, health, and hope.
Well, thank you.
Welcome to the show, Maria.
Thank you, Julia. It's our pleasure to be here.
I'm so excited to talk about this with you. There's nothing more important than donating life when yours is over. You can still donate life. And so just, why don't you just start off by telling us who you are and how you got involved and about your agency?
Yeah. Well, I work with New Mexico Donor Services, and that is the organ recovery agency who serves the citizens of New Mexico.
Okay.
We work with hospitals throughout the state, as well as the motor vehicle department, because we do want people to register on their driver's licenses. Mm-hmm. And we have partners with different organizations who all help us promote healthy lifestyles, as well as, giving this ultimate gift when we don't need the organs anymore.
Right. And as per Randy's suggestion, the song for the show is going to be, staying alive, because you really, you can help someone stay alive, and organs are so needed. And I'm so excited to talk to you about how you can encourage everyone to donate their organs.
Yes.
You have so many good stories. Could you tell the story about when you were working for the agency and you met the gentleman? And
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. So I was working at the donor program as a part-time job while going to college. Mm-hmm. And in walks this gentleman who says, I want to volunteer. I want to give back. I just received a heart transplant. And I was completely mesmerized, thinking, here is a man who is walking because of a gift somebody else gave to him. And he was so enthusiastic and so full of life. And he just wanted to make sure people understood that giving this gift had given him the opportunity to continue walking, continue sharing his story. And he just was an inspiration to be able to tell the stories of different people whose lives had been saved by organ donation.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Why should someone consider donating their organs? Why do it?
Why do it? Because it's really the ultimate gift that you can give when you don't need your organs anymore. The organ and tissue donations we're talking about is after a person has passed on. Mm-hmm. And there are up to 8 lives that can be saved through organ donation. And up to
your one body?
Your one body. So there are 8 organs that can be transplanted, and up to 75 tissues that can be used for transplant and help up to 75 people. Wow. And that includes the corneas and so many other tissues that can be life-giving and life-enhancing. So, many people say, I'm too old, I'm too ill, I have, different medical conditions. Yeah. And donation really is something that just about all of us can do. So I hope that everyone considers that they can continue to register and be an organ donor.
Don't let your age be a barrier. Don't let your medical conditions be a barrier. You can donate your organs if you're 75 years old and you have cancer.
Yes. And most people don't realize that even when a person passes away from cancer, they may not be able to donate a specific organ, but they can still donate their corneas. And the corneas is such an incredible gift. And the cornea is a tissue in your eye that's kind of like a contact lens, and it doesn't have any blood flow going through it so that the cancer cells are not transmitted to the recipient. Because what I hear from many people is, you know, I am ill, I don't want to pass my illness to somebody else.
Sure.
And we make sure that every person who is a donor, we do a medical evaluation to determine if there is anything that would make them at risk of passing on something bad to a recipient. So don't be concerned, just go ahead and register, because you may be able to save someone's life through your gift, or even giving them the gift of sight. I had a friend who worked at UNM as a professor that had a seeing eye dog for many, many years because he was blind. He received a double cornea transplant. Of course, his dog, eye-seeing dog, was no longer used. So his dog lost his job. He was a great pet afterwards. But this friend of mine was able to see his brand new son, his infant who was born, who he hadn't been able to see until he was 6 months old because he could not see. So his greatest gift was being able to see his son.
What a story.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Amanda, who received a heart transplant, wasn't able to join us today, but I would like you, if you could, share her story with us.
Oh, yes. And most people know about organ donation and transplants. Amanda is a young lady here from Albuquerque who never expected to receive a life-saving organ such as a transplant. She actually ended up needing a heart because of a medical condition that happened while she was pregnant. So her heart became enlarged. She ended up having cardiomyopathy induced by her pregnancy. And she delivered a healthy newborn girl, a beautiful little girl. And Amanda then started having problems breathing and walking around and was extremely tired, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with this 20-something-year-old girl. And it turned out that she had suffered a very rare condition in which the heart becomes enlarged from a pregnancy. Amanda ended up needing this heart transplant, and she graciously was able to receive one that was a match in terms of her blood type, her size, and she is now healthy and happy. You know, her daughter is her joy, and you know, otherwise, if she had not received this heart transplant, she wouldn't be with us today. And she is such a tremendous supporter of sharing her message about saving lives, because her life was literally saved through the gift of organ donation.
Wow, what a story. Totally unexpected.
Yes.
You know, when you get pregnant, you don't expect to need a heart transplant after you have your baby.
Yes. And so many people, it's like that. You know, we have healthy lives and suddenly something happens that you may need a kidney transplant or a liver transplant, because we don't go through life saying, oh yeah, eventually I'm going to need a kidney or a heart, you know. So many of the people who are waiting for a transplant right now, it was very unexpected. It's something that maybe cause complications because of some medical condition that they may have had. So no one wishes to be on that waiting list. Right now, we have about 115,000 people who are waiting for a life-saving transplant across the United States, and about 720 of them are New Mexicans. And most of the people from New Mexico who are waiting for transplants are waiting for a kidney. So we used to have, you know, we would tell people, oh, you'll get a kidney transplant in 2 to 3 years from now. Now the waiting list is 5 to 6 years.
Oh my.
And part of the reason for that is that so many people know that a kidney transplant can give them that renewed life, and they can go back to having a normal life.
Isn't it like 98% success rate with the kidney transplant?
It is. So instead of being tied down to a dialysis machine, and having to have very restricted diets, 3 hours dialysis 3 times a week, they can have a regular life by taking a couple of pills.
And you told me when you're on dialysis, you can only have like 16 ounces of water a day.
Yes.
And I mean, there's just so much suffering involved.
Mm-hmm. And here in New Mexico, we actually have a tremendous need for kidneys because of our Hispanic population and our Native American populations. Both are on a higher tendency to have diabetes and high blood pressure. So minority populations have a higher need for kidney transplants due to those two conditions. So we actually see that here in New Mexico, our waiting list is very high for our Native population and our Hispanic population. So we encourage people of all ethnicities to consider being organ donors and to sign up to be an organ donor because so many people in our community need that.
Absolutely. And would you give us the phone number?
Yes. Our phone number is 505-843-7672.
Okay.
That's 843-7672. And if anybody has any questions, they can call our office. They'll probably be talking to me.
Okay, nice.
To be able to answer any questions that they may have about registering to be a donor.
And you also have a donor registry online,
Yes.
right? You want to tell us what that is?
Yeah. We now have a national donor registry where people can register. It doesn't matter what state you live in or where you travel to and move to. And that national registry is called Donate Life. And the website to that is registerme.org.
Okay.
So anyone can go to that website and sign up to be an organ donor. So it doesn't matter if, you spend part of the time here in New Mexico and part in California, you'll be on that registry. And of course, most people know that they can register on their driver's license to be an organ donor. And a little red heart on your license indicates that you have made that decision to save lives.
Absolutely. And Maria, I think some people hesitate to put that on their license because of an urban legend or a myth or, stories that, what if you're not really, gone, and a lack of trust. And what can you tell the audience to, feel like you can trust nobody's going to take anything from you that you still need?
Yeah. What most people don't understand is that there are really two separate medical teams when it comes to organ donation and transplants. You have the hospital, the medical team that will do everything possible to save a person's life. And that starts from the time an EMT shows up to your door or a car accident. Their job is to save a person's life. So it doesn't matter if they have that little red heart on their driver's license, they will be treated and they will do everything possible to save an individual's life.
Yes.
After all life-saving care has taken place, only then is then the donor program, the medical team for the donor program called in at the time a death is declared.
Okay.
So
you have to be declared dead.
So when death is declared or imminent death is to be declared, the donor program is called in to determine if organs or tissues may be able to be donated and transplanted.
And typically the answer to that is yes.
Yes. And it's funny that you did say that it is an urban legend that people think that they won't receive medical treatment. And I said that we work very closely with the motor vehicle department, and the clerks at the MVD tell me that is really the first question or the first objection people have when they are at the MVD getting their driver's license. They're like, oh no, I don't want to sign up because they may not treat me.
See?
And that, of course, is an urban legend. And we encourage people, if you don't want to put it on your driver's license, then go and register on the National Registry. And it's just as easy to go to registerme.org. It takes less than 5 minutes to put the information there, and then you're registered to be a donor. You don't have it on your driver's license, so you don't worry about that urban legend. but then you still are registered to save somebody's life.
And you can have the confidence that you're done. You're done. You don't need it anymore, and you can give so much of yourself to help so many other people, even though you're not going to be able to live on you yourself with your personality and your life, but you're going to be able to help so many people.
Yes.
I mean, it's extraordinary. I can't think of a better thing to do. That's how extraordinary it is.
Yeah, it really is. And also for the families, because we work very closely for families who have had loved one pass on, and who have been able to give this gift by donating organs or tissues. And for families to know that their loved one was able to give this gift, there is nothing that is going to replace their loved one. But many times knowing that gift, they were able to save somebody's life by donating a heart, a kidney, a liver. They know that they were able to give sight to someone or restore their mobility. That is an incredible gift.
It is.
Because as you well know, grief is a long process.
Yes.
But many times knowing that, someone out there is living a better life because of my loved one is such an incredible gift.
And it can really help the grief process.
Yeah.
You'll miss the person you love until the day you die.
Exactly.
But during that process of thinking about them and remembering them and missing them, you can think to yourself, there are all these people walking around on the planet who are having a quality life because of the donation that my darling made and gave.
Yeah.
Tell the story about the coach.
Oh my goodness. So we had a donor family whose 18-year-old son, Jonathan, was going to be a donor. And this is a family that has shared their story many times. And they said, we have our son's YAFL coach who is in need of a liver transplant. And they asked us if they would be willing to donate their 18-year-old son's liver to the coach who had been waiting and was extremely ill. He was declining very fast. So Jonathan's liver was transplanted into his coach.
Wow.
Now, these families were already close beforehand. And, the tragedy of Jonathan's death, their 18-year-old son, but having the coach receive Jonathan's liver has just brought them so much closer together.
Wow.
They go out and still participate in so many games and activities, and to them, it is a living reminder that Jonathan is still around. He helped their coach, Jonathan's coach, live, and he's doing well. And every time he sees Jonathan's parents, he thanks them for that gift.
That's so touching. It's so touching.
Yeah, it really is. So we have incredible stories like that all over New Mexico, and many times we hear them.
Talk about, Maria, the religious barrier that gets in the way of people being an organ donor. That it's against my religion, or I don't think that my organized religion would approve of this. Can you address that, please?
Yes, and many people think that that their religion would require them that their religion is against donation. Where in truth, every religion has come out with a statement saying, if organ donation is going to save somebody's life, then they fully support it. We have statements from...
Green light, green light.
Yes. We have statements from the Pope. We have statements from Jewish communities. We have a statement from an imam, which is the Muslim leadership. So every community has now said that organ donation is life-saving. And many times, there are members of that religious community who are in need of a transplant. So they have seen this gift work. They have seen renewed life within their own religious community. So it is a tremendous gift. And we encourage people also to share it with their religious community. We tell people, talk to your leadership, talk to your faith leaders, and find out what your religious beliefs are. Because many times, you know, we have very antiquated beliefs. And life is changing all the time. And organ transplants have now been taking place successfully for over 50 years. So we know it's no longer an experiment.
Right.
We are saving lives every single day. And there may be a member of your family or your friends who may be in need of a life-saving gift. So let's try and share that gift by signing up to be organ donors.
Absolutely. Yeah, while you're spreading the gift of love, also spread the gift of, hey, you can be an organ donator too.
Yes.
Spread that message while you're at it. What else? I know you have another really good story. Tell me the story about the man who couldn't walk and he got his tendon replaced.
Oh, that story is my husband.
That is why I remember. Yes. What's your husband's name?
Randy.
Randy,
Yes.
we're going to talk about your knee, pal.
Oh,
okay,
yes.
Get ready.
So he actually, you know, was very active in sports in high school and college. He wrestled for UNM. And after we got married a couple of years later, he was still involved in the martial arts and got hurt to the point that he couldn't walk because his tendon, he had already had 2 knee operations to repair the tendons in his knee. And his orthopedic surgeon said, you know, this is the last thing we can do is we can give you a donated tendon and do the ACL, which is the replacement of that tendon. He went in for surgery that morning and was walking out of the hospital that afternoon with this donated tendon. So many people don't realize that it's not only organs that are life-saving, there's also tissues that can be donated. Over 1 million transplants with tissue take place in the United States every day. And it may be a little piece of tendon like my husband received. It may be a piece of bone.
Every day?
Every year.
Okay.
1 million tissue transplants every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
should
lot.
figure out how many every day.
Yeah, there you go. Somebody get out a calculator.
Yeah. But tissue is it's not life-saving, but it is life-restoring. So my husband was able to go back to teaching karate. He is a coach, and he is also a PE teacher. So all those things in his life,
It was so
he could
necessary.
not do. Yeah, he could not do his job because he couldn't walk. So now he has been completely restored. Of course, you know, he is nonstop all the time. But yeah, it was this incredible gift of a tendon that was able to give him the ability to continue doing what he wanted to do.
And they found a match in terms of the donor's tendon and Randy's size.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They match you up like that so that it's a fit.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why we say when a person donates, it's not only the 8 organs that can be life-saving, it's up to 75 people that they can help with the tissue donation. That includes tendons and heart valves.
The 8 organs, I wanted to talk about them
Okay.
too. So up to 75 people can receive your tissues, and up to 8 people can receive your organs.
Yes.
If my math is right, you can help 83 people by being an organ donor.
Exactly. At least 83.
And if we all were organ donors and we could all help 83 people, there wouldn't be this waiting list.
We wouldn't have a shortage of organs needed.
So a kidney, I see this waiting list for 2017, 96,000 for kidney, and the transplants, 19,000. Look at all the people who did not get a kidney because there was not a kidney to be had.
Yeah.
Liver, pancreas. I didn't know you could transplant a pancreas.
For type 1 diabetics, it is possible to transplant the pancreas. So people who have had to have insulin shots all their life can have a pancreas transplant. Many times they can also have a kidney pancreas because diabetes, of course, as we know, damages your kidneys. So many times they need that transplant at the same time.
That makes sense. Yeah, it says kidney pancreas right here. Intestine.
Yes. There is a condition known as small gut syndrome in which many babies are born with this, that they cannot process food, so they're tube fed. Their whole life. I met this 6-year-old that had been tube fed his whole life, received a intestinal transplant, and now can finally eat the way we all eat. Because up to that point, he had never had food go through his mouth because his intestines couldn't process the food.
Wow. Heart, lung, and lung.
Yes. So there's up to 8 organs that can be, 8 people that can be saved through the organs that we can donate. And there is also possible for, if we have a healthy enough liver, maybe up to 9 people that can be helped by one organ donor, because the liver can be split. So the small lobe of the liver can be separated.
Oh, I
and
didn't know that.
Yeah, we have babies who are waiting for liver transplants who usually die on the waiting list because the liver would have to come from another infant. So now doctors are able to dissect the small lobe of the liver that is being transplanted, give it to an infant, so that the baby's life can be saved and an adult's life can be saved.
You are wonderful. We are out of time. Will you come back and talk about this again?
Oh, definitely.
So we can get our numbers up for people to donate?
Yes.
We should talk about this twice a year at least.
At least.
And you're so knowledgeable. Thank you so much, Maria.
Thank you, Julia.
And thank you for watching. Please, please, please be an organ donor. It is the most important, one of the most important things you can ever do. And thank you for watching. This is Dr. Julia Bain. Until next time, be happy and be well.
This has been Employee Health Services Mind, Body, and Spirit. For more information, call the City of Albuquerque's Employee Health Services at 768-4613. Let the Employee Health Services staff let you be your best at work, at home, and at play.